So I just finished editing a 27-minute long-form drone video from Valletta, Malta. In this edit, it was clear to me why the bad shots were bad and why some of the shots were some of my favorite that I've ever taken. So today I wanted to speak to you pilots who are looking to level up your drone footage and make it more cinematic. None of these ideas are about the editing room. They're completely about what you do when you have the controller in your hand to make your shots look more cinematic. So I hope one or two of these ideas help. Let's get started. So the first thing that jumped out to me was pacing. When I maintain a steady pace throughout the whole shot, it was automatically better. So keep the speed of the drone and whatever motion you're doing, whether that's a push, a parallax, truck, whatever you're doing, a tilt, keep it steady throughout the whole shot.
For example, you can see in this shot, it looks like a great shot, but right about 3/4 of the way through, I over-rotate a little bit too quickly. You can see that that's much more exaggerated when it's sped up like this, whereas another shot, all of the movements of this shot are all nice and smooth, so even when it's ramped up, looks beautiful.
Number 2 is multi-axis or just more complicated shots.
Here's a simple trucking shot, but I like this shot better where I'm actually parallaxing a little bit, but tilting up and raising the drone at the same time. Here's another shot that instead of just trucking to the side, I'm doing a tilt up, and I believe I'm also dropping the drone a little bit. Here's a relatively boring push, and I added a little bit of a lift in there and a tilt so you can actually reveal the other side of the city on the shot. Much better than a simple push. Basically mix up your shots so your audience doesn't get bored. Here in this multi-axis shot, I'm parallaxing, I'm dropping the drone, and then I'm also tilting up, and we'll get back to this shot a little bit later.
Number 3 is have a beginning and an end to your shot.
I think with a well thought out shot, the audience should be able to feel how long the shot should be by the way that you move through the scene. I think this helps keep the audience engaged since they understand the flow of the video and they can feel the next shot coming.
Number 4 is use foreground and get closer to your subject. This is something that I struggle with since I'm always worried, since my drone is loud and I'm worried about people around me and maybe even police or something harassing me, that I want to get as far away from my subject as possible. But some of my favorite shots have been ones where the drone is much closer to the subject and moves through them. Number 5 is simply watch the rule of thirds and keep your horizon line on the first third or the second third line.
Back to this shot, I saw how important it was to frame the subject properly. The shot was going great until you can see here I over-rotated and the steeple moved off the intersection of the lines, which I then, right there, I overcorrected for, ruining the pacing of the shot. I should have focused on keeping the steeple on the lines of the rule of thirds, and I think it would have been a lot better.
Number 6 is follow an object. I've found that when there's a boat or a car that's moving at a similar rate as the camera, it just looks that much more cinematic. Number 7 is redo a shot if you need to. This feels weird to say, but I find myself so much worrying about battery life and annoying the people around me that I forget that the most important thing besides safety is getting the shot. So don't be afraid to go back and redo the shot. In fact, if you find yourself never going back and redoing a shot, it probably means your footage is boring. So that's a nice little clue right there. Right along with that, number 8 is plan a shot. Don't just hit record and fly around. Have an idea before you even lift off, and definitely before you hit record, what the shot is going to be. This will save you battery life, it'll save you time in the editing room, and it'll save you on storage space as well. For number 9, I asked myself, have I seen this shot in a movie? As I'm planning my shot and as I'm thinking about what I just recorded, I think, is this something that would go in a movie? If not, I should probably change it and make it a little bit better. So those are the 9. I have 2 more here that I'll add at the end. So the one is exposure, very simply. Make sure that your shutter speed is double your frame rate. Usually you're gonna need an ND filter to accomplish this, but it's gonna help if you don't have such a high shutter speed, it'll help with that jittering effect you get with a high shutter speed. Number 2, I have it as ease off the wheel. So you know the tilting wheel that we have on our controller, make sure that when you are entering into a tilt or coming out of it, you actually slow down as you're changing and not just release the wheel and it springs back into, and it completely stops wherever it is. Ease back into that and you'll find that your footage is a lot more cinematic. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you learned something. Please comment down below all the things that I got wrong and the things that you actually got from this. And I'll hopefully see you next video. Thank you so much.